Okay, hello everyone. How are we doing today?
Good.
Good.
Good. Okay, well, are we ready to learn about some Shakespeare today?
Yes.
Okay, well, I know that we have been talking about Shakespeare for about a week now. So if we want to go ahead and start with our objective. So we know TSW stands for the student will. So on the count of 3, how about we all read the objective out loud together, okay? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. The student will explore the relationship between Shakespeare's works and modern media and demonstrate knowledge through a short essay. Okay, good job. So we're going to start out today with a Kwl chart. And do you guys know what a Kwl chart is? Okay, do you know?
I do not.
Okay, well, KWL stands for what you know, what you want to know, and then what you learned. So we're going to start today's class with the first 2 columns, and then at the end of class, we'll come back and answer the last column, okay?
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to give both of you 2 sticky notes. And on one sticky note, I want you to write something that you know about Shakespeare, and then come put it up here.
Just one thing?
Yes, or multiple things, whatever. And then on the other one, I want you to write something that you want to know or something that you don't really understand about Shakespeare, and then come put it up here.
If I spell that right, and I go.
It's okay.
Okay. And then what we need to know. I cannot spell.
It's okay.
Put a fun one on here.
Awesome. We love fun facts about Shakespeare.
It says work, not walk. He added my answer.
I knew I was forgetting something.
It's okay, as long as you already knew it. Okay, so let's see what we have. On what we know he's a playwright, Globe Theater, nice beard, yes. Most well-known poet and playwright of all time, yes. With the nice beard, did you know that we actually have no idea what Shakespeare looked like, because he never had a portrait done of himself when he was alive, so we're just kind of guessing.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, and then how many stories originate from his work? That's a good question. That's something that we're going to get to today. Why are his works so important even in today's society? Again, something that we're going to cover today. Okay.
Something with the...
Yeah, shoot.
Yes. Okay. And that's something you can put up here later. Okay, so we're going to start with a little fun activity. And it's a quiz, but it's not anything you need to worry about because it's going to be kind of fun. So we have this little quiz right here, and it's Shakespeare or Taylor Swift. So I'm going to show you some quotes, and you're going to decide whether you think it's something that Shakespeare wrote or something that's in a Taylor Swift song, okay?
Okay.
And I have little signs. Here's Taylor Swift and then Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Yes, what we think he looks like. So I'm going to give both of you
What if
those.
Shakespeare and Taylor Swift are actually like identical twins?
What if they were? We don't know. And and so when I show you a quote, I'm going to ask you to lift up the one that you think it is, and then I'll tell you which one it is, okay?
Should we show it to the camera so they like know what
Sure. Okay. Are we ready?
Okay.
Okay. You and I are past our dancing days. Okay, so you both think it's Shakespeare. Let's see. And you're right. That's actually Shakespeare.
I was like, this sounds too much like Taylor Swift.
Okay, so let's look at the next one. Dreamers often lie. Okay, interesting. You think it's Taylor. You think it's Shakespeare. Let's see. That is actually Shakespeare.
I'm 1-1.
Okay, let's look at the next one. You're untouchable, burning brighter than the sun. Okay, you both think it's Taylor Swift. That's actually Taylor Swift. It's from Untouchable. I'm sure you've heard that song before. Okay, so time turns flames to embers. Okay, you both think it's Taylor?
Back to December?
Yeah.
They're innocent.
No,
Innocent.
Oh.
Yes.
I could
Okay.
hear it. I was like, time turns flames to embers.
Yes. Okay. Hopeful they'll be, and long they will wait. Okay, so you both think it's Shakespeare. That's actually Taylor
I
Swift.
don't think that's
It's from
totally
Sad,
right.
Beautiful, Tragic.
Dang it.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Take him and cut him out in little stars. Okay, you both think it's Shakespeare.
Okay.
And you're right. Okay, next one. I do recall now the smell of the rain. Okay. Yeah, good job. We have some Taylor Swift fans here. Okay, you are a lover, borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them.
That's gotta be.
Okay, you think it's Shakespeare? And it is. Okay, let's look at the next one. She will not be hit with Cupid's arrow. Another one about Cupid. Okay.
One shall stand. One shall fall.
Okay, let's see.
Dang it!
That's actually Shakespeare again.
This is why I'm a music head.
Okay. Put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch.
That has to be.
Okay, we'll go in different ways again.
Yes!
Taylor Swift from Treacherous.
All I know from that song is this slope is treacherous.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. He will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night.
So fine. He'll make that.
Okay. That is Shakespeare.
I'm not a true
Okay,
Swiftie.
I think this is the last one. You asked me for a place to sleep, locked me out, and threw a feast.
You. And through all things. That is definitely Taylor Swift.
Okay. And you're right.
I definitely could not place the song, but I was like, I know this is Taylor Swift.
Okay, good job, everyone. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I have an anticipation guide for you. And so I know we've been talking about Shakespeare and we've been talking about his plays. So one of the major parts of his plays are soliloquies. Can either of you tell me what a soliloquy is?
It's been a hot minute.
No, it's a type of poem.
I can't
Is it
remember.
a type of poem?
Ish.
Ish.
He uses it in his plays.
Is it like when... I want to say it's like when they talk to the audience, but I feel like it's not.
You're
right.
close. You're really close. It is a speech that a character makes.
That's right.
And
word.
it's when he's basically talking to himself and there's no one else around and basically just like thinking out loud.
That's right.
So I have these anticipation guides for a soliloquy from Hamlet, and I'm sure you've heard it before. It's very famous. So I'm going to give these to you, and I want you to read through them silently.
I knew it was going to be to be or not to be.
Yes, it's very famous. So read through them silently, and then when you're done, you can go ahead and answer the questions on the second sheet. Make sure you write your names at the top. And I'll give you a few minutes to do that.
Oh, no. Some of these are trick questions.
Okay, are we both done? Okay, so for the next part of this activity, I'm going to need a volunteer to stand up in front of the class and do a dramatic reading of the soliloquy.
Born for this.
Okay, do you want to go for it, Raquel? Okay, so let's give Raquel our undivided attention.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end, the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office and the spurns, that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might quietest make. With a bare bodkin, who would fardels bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller's return, puzzles the will, and make us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprise of great pitch and moment, with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action.
Good job. That was beautiful. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of the soliloquy, I want you to go back through the questions that you have on your anticipation guide and go ahead and change any of the answers if you want and highlight where you see the answers in the soliloquy. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that.
I'm confused how we highlight some of these.
Which ones are you confused about?
Because, like, how would we, like, highlight these things?
If you can't find it, then it's okay. If you want to, like, write an explanation, that's okay too. Or just leave it. Just do whatever you think would help you find the answer.
No, I was just like.
No cheating, Taylor. You done? Okay.
Alright, I think I've got
Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to watch a clip from a movie production of Hamlet, and it's the Soliloquy. So if you want, you can follow along on your piece of paper or just watch the video. And so the video's around 3 minutes long, and I really want you to just pay attention to his facial expressions and body language and how he is communicating the soliloquy in the play. Okay. Oh, there's an ad, of course. Okay. So now you can kind of see what the soliloquy looks like in action. I know we had our great dramatic reading by Raquel. So you can see what it looks like in the actual play. And that's actually a more modern adaptation of Hamlet, as you can tell. So now we're going to go into some discussion of what we've gone over so far. So going back to our little quiz of Taylor Swift or Shakespeare, I know you guys are obviously Taylor Swift fans because you got most of them right. So what kind of similarities or differences do you see between Taylor Swift's lyrics and then Shakespeare's work?
I think they're both like very romantic. Like even in this like really dramatic like reading about life or death, there's still like very romantic notions in it and like in the language.
Yeah, definitely. So could you say that there are some common themes between the two? What themes would those be?
Well, I guess like are we just talking about this soliloquy like
based on the soliloquy, but you can reference other Shakespeare things if you want to.
Well, a lot of his, I mean, he has a lot of, tragedies, comedies, and like clearly like Romeo and Juliet is like seen as like one of the most romantic, kind of stories, and so I think they both, but they both also like concentrate a lot on like heartache, because like this one is like talking about, like it might be better to like just not be alive and not have to deal with this pain, and like there's like if you listen to a lot of Taylor Swift lyrics, like you hear a lot of pain.
Yeah. Taylor, do you have anything to add to that? No? Okay. No, I definitely agree. I think that one of the major similarities between the two is that they focus on very extremes. So either like extreme love and happiness or extreme pain and wanting to die. So we've obviously seen that Taylor Swift and Shakespeare have some things in common, but can you think of any other forms of modern media that might have some of the same themes? It can be like movies, songs, TV shows, anything.
Don't they say that like most stories can kind of like lead back to a theme from Shakespeare? Because like The Lion King is basically Hamlet. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. Like, and there's a lot of ones like that they have a movie called Romeo and Juliet. Like, like there's just almost every storyline in like movies, musicals, anything like that. Like you can find some sort of like story arc from Shakespeare.
Yeah, definitely. Can you think of any other artists like Taylor Swift that use similar themes?
I'm trying to think of a language.
It's just a Taylor Swift again.
Maybe not like similar wording, because I know we looked kind of at the wording between Taylor Swift and Shakespeare, but even just like themes of like love and pain and things like that.
Demi Lovato has a lot of really like.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like her songs are either like really angry or really like.
Yeah.
In love.
Yeah.
Like Katy Perry's also kind of
Katy Perry, yeah.
Lines. Lord, maybe. It's got a lot of dramatic stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it has a lot of like Lord has a lot of ambiguity, and like some of Shakespeare's stuff kind of does too, because you're just kind of like you have to like read really carefully.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Like there's a surface level, but then there's also you can read deeper into it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to another activity, and this is called a raft assignment. So basically what you're going to do with this one is the word raft is actually an acronym, and so The R in RAF stands for role, and it is basically you as a reader of Hamlet and other Shakespearean works. And then the A stands for audience. So your audience in this assignment is going to be Shakespeare. So that's who you're writing to in this. And the F stands for format, and so this is going to be a personal letter. And the T stands for topic. So what I want you to write in this letter is major concerns you have with this particular soliloquy and how you see this soliloquy in modern media that Shakespeare might not know about since he's not living in our time right now. So just write whatever you feel. It doesn't have to be like a formal paper. Just write down what you think about the soliloquy and what you would tell Shakespeare if you were able to actually write him a letter. You can say that if you want, as long as it is appropriate. Yeah, take about one more minute. we about finished?
Yeah.
Okay. And now go ahead and get with a partner and share your letters. If you don't want to read your actual letter, just share something that you wrote in your letter. So I'll give you a few minutes to discuss that.
I could go first since you begin on me for a bit.
I wrote, Dear Mr. Shakespeare, I think you would really get along with one of our more modern playwrights, Lin-Manuel Miranda. In his musical Hamilton, he touches many times on the subject of life and death, much like the Soliloquy from Hamlet. One of the lines I thought of when reading this is when George Washington tells Alexander Hamilton that dying is easy but living is harder. And I feel that really encapsulates this entire piece in one phrase. I think we seem to glorify death when in fact struggles are sometimes what make life worth living.
Basically, how do you think this would relate to the generation today? Talk about life and death is a heavy subject with suicide at a high rate. It truly is an internal struggle that some face, but could you use the soliloquy to an advantage in preventing suicide or thoughts of it? We can show the struggle, but also show ways to help those suffering with depression and thoughts of suicide.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do today is an essay. I know we don't like essays, but we got to do them. And it's just going to be a short one, so just 2 paragraphs. So don't stress about it too much. And it's not for a formal grade. I just kind of want to see where you stand with this lesson. So the directions are: write a short 2-paragraph essay about Shakespeare's soliloquy that we read in Hamlet and its meaning. Relate Shakespeare's work to an example in modern media. That can be songs, movies, plays, social media, etc. And explain how they are similar or different. How has Shakespeare influenced modern media? Yes?
Can I, if I already wrote about it in my other little thing, can I still
Yes,
write
you
it?
can relate both. Perfect. There you go. Okay, we're going to take about 10 minutes to do this.
I like that the word soliloquy is on top of all of these, so I don't have to remember how to
Right.
Yes, it's hard to spell, I know. You don't have to fill up the whole page if you don't want to. As long as it's 2 paragraphs, you're fine.
Okay.
When it says Shakespeare's work, are you talking about Hamlet specifically or just any of his?
Any of his work is
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Anything you're familiar with. About 2 more minutes. Okay, are we about done? Okay. Go ahead and put that to the side right now. And before you leave today, we're going to finish out our Kwl chart. So we did what we know and what we want to know. And hopefully your your questions got answered in class today, because we talked about modern media and today's society and how Shakespeare affects that. So we're going to finish it out with what we learned today. So I'm going to give each of you a sticky note. And as your ticket out of class today, you're going to write down something that you learned in today's class and come put it up here. So take a couple minutes to do that. And once you've put it up here, go ahead and turn in all your work for me, and then you're free to go. Okay, great. Thanks, guys.